Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Aizkraukle in Latvia. This place is very quaint and charming and beautiful, I must say. But it is so quaint and charming that most of the things I want to show you are not on this map. As you can see, it's a lot of empty space on this map, and that is because this space is full of beautiful farmland and beautiful forested areas. The major geographical landmark is the Daugava River, which is like the main river in Latvia. It makes up the whole southern border here. It flows up into Riga and then into the Gulf of Riga up here. The actual village of Aizkraukle is about right here. It's not large. It's very cute and quaint. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Before going into history, it's very small and quaint, and I'll show you a lot on Google Earth after we talk about the history of this little tiny area of Latvia. Culturally, this area is known as Vitsemi, and I'm probably mispronouncing all the Latvian. It's kind of a struggle language. A lot of the languages in this corner of Europe, like the Balkans here up to Finland, are kind of struggle languages. This area is one of the last areas of Europe to convert to Christianity, or like any organized religion. It was a very pagan part of the world, like mostly like up in here. The people group that made up the majority of the population here were the Latgalians, which is probably where we get the word Latvia from, I believe. So, in the, let's see, I want to say the like 1200s or so, I didn't write down any dates, I just realized. The Pope in Rome was like, we got to do something about all these pagans living up here in Europe. So we got to send people up there to convert them to Roman Catholicism. And the people that took up the helm were some knights from Germany known as the Livonian Knights. And they came through conquering and converting as they went. It took them a while, but they eventually got through all the land here and had it under their control and converted all the people to Catholicism. And they left a little stamp on this part of Latvia in that they built 2 different castles. One of them, which is about right here, is for the most part still standing-ish. Another is about right down here. It's not. It's pretty beaten up, but you can definitely tell that it used to be some kind of old-timey fortress. I'll show you all of them on Google Earth. It's really cool. But the rest of history in this area just kind of went by. It's, like I said, it's small and quaint. It's farmland. Really, the only changes were just the people who were in charge of this land. They didn't really do much there. The Livonian Knights were defeated by the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. They took over for a minute until Sweden took over. Sweden kind of sort of did some work in the area, mostly Riga. They mostly built up Riga, but you can definitely see kind of the influence in some of the churches here because the Swedes brought Lutheranism. So there's lots of very pretty old Lutheran churches in the area. And then they were replaced by the Russians. I did write down this date. It was in 1721 with the Treaty of Nystad. It was when Russia officially took over from Sweden. And they held on to this area with a firm grip. They did not want to let it go. And there's lots of Russification and stuff. And what's interesting is that I always try to look up like tourist videos of these places. And half of the ones that I found about Aizkraukle were in Latvian. The other half were all in Russian. So apparently lots of Russian or Russian-speaking people still like to relax in the countryside here. I think that's really interesting. The Russians only managed to let this area go for a little bit because of the revolution in the late 1910s. Latvia declared its independence, but that was not to last. World War II came around. It fell under the Soviet sphere of influence. The Soviets rushed right in and took over. And, after World War II, them being the Soviets, they started to industrialize the area because that was what they loved to do best. The most prominent thing that they left behind was a really big hydroelectric dam. It is the largest hydroelectric dam in the Baltic states and supplies a lot of power. But yeah, you can see in lots of the buildings, I'll kind of sort of point them out, but lots of those like Soviet style apartment buildings where they're just like brutalist blocks of buildings all lined up. They loved to build that kind of stuff. And they built up the little town here and some of the other little towns with that style of architecture. And then, of course, the Soviets went by the wayside, Latvia as an independent country, and life just still goes on in this area. There's still farming, there's still being quaint countryside, people swimming in the river, going hiking. Like, those things just have not changed. The only thing that's changed in this area was who owned it, and everything else is still pretty much the same. So that is the history of this little corner of Latvia. Let me show you on Google Earth. Slide this over. So here we are. Can't really see, but here's Aizkraukle. And let me zoom out a bit so you can see exactly where we are in the world if you don't know where the Balkans are. So here we are in Europe. You can see there's Germany, there's Sweden. Over here's Russia, there's Moscow. And over here we have the Baltic states near the Baltic Sea. Have I been saying Balkan this whole time? I hope not. But anyway, I'm pretty sure I haven't, but now I feel like I have. I probably haven't. I'm probably fine. But if I did, please forgive me. So here's Latvia. And here's Aizkraukle. And if I exit out of this, you can see a little bit here the outline of the area. Then down here through the river. So there's the Daugava River. And here's the town of Aizkraukle. You can see pretty little churches here. I like this one. You can see the old part and the modern part, or at least one that got rebuilt, The town was pretty heavily bombed during World War II, I forgot to mention. Some of that Soviet architecture here, down by the river. It's very beautiful. Yes. Train coming by. Yeah, it's just a quaint little town. With I've noticed going through the slideshows out in the countryside, there's weird little things like this that I think is just kind of left behind from its pagan past. And that's neat. You can kind of see in neat. The beautiful countryside, how it's all very fairy-like. Let me just find a random one. This is another place where there's just so many little slideshows around that I wish I could show you all of them, but there's a lot of them. Let's look here. Nature Preserve. I don't think I've looked at this one. That's pretty neat. It looks like a wetlands, doesn't it? Let's look at this one here. Here's what I'm talking about. Yes, beautiful little windy hiking paths. There's the river. Yeah, it just kind of looks like the place that you'd get like sucked into a fairy tale. You'd get spirited away. It's all. Yeah, if you go in there, you're gonna wind up in the fairy realm or something, right? It's all very beautiful and lovely here. There's so many cool things to see. All right, first I wanted to show you the old castle. I just realized I forgot where it was. I think it's over here somewhere. I think this was a neat slideshow too. Yeah, by the beautiful water. Lovely place. And look at the mist. Very beautiful, right? Little camping spot. Ooh. It's so pretty. Looks like a painting. Alright, it's time to play Where Did the Castle Go? I think this is it. I found it. I know this is it. Let's see. Pretty. It has to be here. Come on, castle. Oh, it's snowy there. Here it is. So this is what it looks like now. It got super abandoned, right? Pretty neat. So like I said, you can tell it used to be a castle. It is no longer. I think it's right here, right? Let's see if this slide shows any better pictures. Ooh, I love hiking trails like that. I want to go hiking here so bad. Look how pretty it is. Look at this little bridge. It's so neat. Okay, maybe there's no other pictures of the castle here, but this is a cool slideshow, right? Like this whole area, there it is. This whole area is covered in little foresty slideshows like this. They're all super, super beautiful. And then if we head down the river here, you can see the big dam. Don't ask me how to pronounce this place, but here is the big hydroelectric dam, supplying some hydroelectric energy to the region. Still operational and all that good stuff. Using the power of the big river here. So there's the town. And let's see, I promised I'd show you the architecture, right? Like, here's what I mean. You can see like the old town, the quaint little village, and then like Soviet block buildings, right? It's a neat little town. It's a big train station up here. Lots of industry. But let's head down the river. I want to show you this other town that I was exploring. It's really neat. I believe it's called Koknesi. Again, that's probably super wrong. But it's another quaint little town. Lots of little village places, things, lots of beautiful trees, lots of farmland out here in kind of the outskirts, right? But the town has this really neat, like, sort of historical district. They've made it into a big hiking path that you can explore all this area here, and they've built this really cool park down here on this island. It's just like a place to explore and hang out. That's super cool. So that's part of the hike. Let's look at some random photos here and see the beautiful scenery of this area. Again, it's just, there is no such thing as a not gorgeous picture of this place. It all is just hardcore fairy tale. Here's a very old church, you can tell. Beautiful, beautiful. Isn't it? Don't you just want to walk down this path and explore and see everything? So here's the little trail map. You can see all of these historical sites and old monuments and things. How cool is that? That's so amazing. And it all kind of culminates. There's like a bunch of cool little sculptures, but it all culminates right down here to the big castle. Ta-da! The castle ruins. And look, they still have the old, looks like the torture chamber there. Very like Livonian night of them, you know. Be Catholic or else you wind up here. But here's what the castle looks like today. How cool is that? Looks kind of like haunted, like someone recreated what it would have looked like back in the day when it was all fresh and new. That's what it looks like now, all falling apart and old and mysterious. But it's kind of the best part of old castles, isn't it? Oh, so neat to explore. There's an old cannon there. That is super cool, I think. I think it is fascinating. But yeah, there's lots of little other sculptures around. I'm not quite sure what they're for. But like I said, every once in a while you find some little place with some strange little thing and you're like, like this. This seems very pre-Christian, doesn't it? There's just every once in a while I'll be like, oh, what the heck is that? It looks like it has a tiny door. Looks like a really cool signpost telling you where everything is, but it's super like cottage core, you know? That's the vibe of this place. You go through here, you wind up lost in fairyland, don't you? Like, this is a portal, isn't it? It's so beautiful. This place is just low-key kind of magical. Even this little playground, look at the seesaw here. How cute is this? It's all so quaint and pretty. Yeah, I spent a long time going all through Google Earth looking at all the little places in this part of the world, and they're all cute and adorable and just hauntingly beautiful, isn't it? So, instead of showing you slideshow after slideshow after slideshow of beautiful trees and the river, I'm going to end it there. It's up to you if you want to see more and explore some of this very old part of Europe. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time on my channel, please consider subscribing. This is an ongoing series on my channel. Next, we are heading over to Jordan. And if you thought these old castles were cool, just wait. I'm about to show you an even cooler one next time. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. I hope that you found this video relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a very good